All right, welcome back. If you haven't already watched the PLC board trainer board that we are using video, please go back and watch it. That will be a little bit helpful for you. Otherwise, this is the software that we will be using this semester. This is TIA Portal version 13. This is the software for Siemens PLCs. It is not perfect by any means, but it's the software that we're using, and it's the software we're stuck with if you want to use Siemens PLCs. So it's kind of a little bit of a give and take going on. There are things I like about the Siemens software better. There are things I like about the Allen Bradley software better. But let us go ahead and just kind of get started with the Siemens software. The first thing I want to talk about is this is where you are brought when you open up the Siemens software. On the right-hand side in the big gray section, you will see up here all of the programs that you've recently used. If this is a laptop that doesn't erase itself every time you turn it off. All right. If you're doing this on the simulated computers, the VDI, nothing will be there because every time you log off, this disappears. So make sure that you save your file to a flash drive or something every time. It just protects you is really what it comes down to. But anyway, what we are going to be doing is we're going to be creating a new project. So over here on the left-hand side, there's a button that says Create New Project, and that is where we're going to start. All right, after you've created a new project, you might want to give it a project name. Project 1, 2, 3. This just defaults a project and then a number, depending on how many projects before it are in the current path. All right. Again, I mentioned saving this to flash drives. This is where you would want to do that. You could just change your path and select a flash drive in the My Computer or the computer section of File Explorer that pops up. So that's what I would change. Otherwise, author and comment, you don't need to change at all. Other than that, after you've got that done, you're just going to go ahead and click Create, and this is going to take a while. I don't know why, but it takes a little bit of time. It's a little bit slow no matter how good of the computer you're on as far as I can tell. So we will be back in a moment. All right, and I think we are ready to move on. Now, this, again, software, a little weird if you ask me. We could keep going through with all of it this way, but I really do not like this interface. So what I'm going to suggest to you guys is down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there is a button that says Project View. To me, that is the best way to be using this software. So go ahead and click on Project View, and that will take you to where I'm going to call the normal interface for the Siemens software. Now, over on the left-hand side here, we have our device tree, or project tree. So if you ever hear me say that, this is what I'm talking about over here on the left-hand side. There are 3 different sections to this. We've got the project that we're currently in, located right here. We've got our online access, so PLCs that are on network that we want to go search for, and then our card reader USB memory, which we're not going to be using this semester. You will be using this online access section a little bit this semester. Maybe not directly through this, but we will use it a little bit. But to add a new PLC or HMI, all you're going to have to do is click on this Add New Device button right there, and that's going to pop up a new window. Now, earlier I mentioned what type of PLC we're using. So right now I'm in the HMI section. So I am currently selected on here. I can tell that because it says HMI at the top. What we're going to add today is a PLC. So we're going to actually click on the controller section if you have not already or not already there. Now, if you remember from that previous video, we are using the 1200 series PLCs. So we're going to expand that. Then we're going to expand CPU. And we're using the 1214C AC-DC relay. Now, some of you may be asking yourself, what does the AC-DC relay mean? Well, AC is the power input onto the PLC. If I didn't talk about this in the last video, but we take 120 volts AC as an input for these PLCs. DC is the input section, so what type of input signals is it expecting from push buttons and things like that. So that is 24 volts DC. And then the relay is the output. So that is all those outputs. So I did mention how we could put 24 volts or 120 volts of AC into those. We will be using 24 volts this semester. Now, the other thing I mentioned is the specific model. Remember that was under that flap on the PLC itself. So in my last video, I had this, and I was showing, talked about how there's a flap. Doesn't cover that, goes all the way down here. All right, and it covers all of this. We can't touch the screw terminals. But underneath that, which I just covered now, is the actual model number that we are using. And this is the 214 1BG40 OXBO. And if I come back here, you see 214 1BG40 OXBO. Yes, there are 3 different models under the 1214C AC/DC relay. After that, all you have to do is click the OK button located at the very bottom. And again, this is one of those things that the first time you add something, it takes a while. So we will be back once that is done loading. And we're back. So for me, that took probably about 30 seconds to a minute, and I've got what I'm going to qualify as a pretty decent computer here. It doesn't seem to matter what type of hardware you have. It takes some time to at least add that first one. Now, adding a second one of the same model is much faster. Adding an HMI, again, takes a little bit of time the first time. So just something to be aware of. Now on that project tree on the left-hand side, you can see that we've got a lot more stuff going on. We actually have our PLC up here listed now, saying this is in our project. And then everything that's tabbed in slightly is all specific to that PLC. Some of the important things that you will be using this semester, we will be using the program blocks. We will also be using PLC tags. And for the most part, that's going to be about it on this specific screen, that is. So just wanted to show you those different program blocks in that program tree, and we will come back in another video to continue on this one.